My name is John Parnell. I'm a professor of management and eminent scholar of business in the College of Business at the University of North Alabama. Today I'd like to talk about the COVID-19 crisis. Now, it's a health crisis that has triggered an economic crisis. The details are changing rapidly, so I refer you to health officials for the best and most current health advice. Please take it seriously, but I'd like to take the next few minutes and talk about it from an economic perspective. Now, COVID-19 is what we call a black swan. A black swan is an event that is rare and unpredictable with potentially severe consequences. We tend to look back on black swans and say, well, we saw it coming, but in most instances we really didn't. This means there's a lot of uncharted territory. We have experience with viruses, with epidemics. We know a lot about the flu and the common cold, but we just don't know everything about COVID-19, and that creates a lot of confusion. Now, if we think economically to the most recent crisis, we would go back to the Great Recession of 2008 and 2009. It was caused primarily by internal factors, so political decisions, business mistakes. COVID-19 is a bit different. It was caused by an external factor, a virus that spread to the U.S. from China. The fact that it started in China doesn't really make it external. It could be external even if it started here. The point is, it was something that occurred to or happened to the economic system, which was moving right along pretty well at the time. External crises like pandemics and wars require swift government action, and they have to deal with what we call liquidity. In other words, companies need cash now. It's not that the company that we're talking about are not in a position to succeed. It's just they have a short-term need of cash. Many of their customers won't be able to buy their products. Employees won't be needed to work at their stores. So you have a situation where we have a short-term financial crisis. We expect the government to step in and help, and I would encourage each of you to step in and help where you can as well. The goal here is to do what we call flattening the curve. The idea behind flattening the curve is that we would reduce the spread of the disease and the number of cases that might occur at any one time, so we would reduce the threat to healthcare providers. Now, we might benefit from warmer temperatures, we certainly hope we do, but we just can't be sure. The advice I have concerning individual behavior and as well as business behavior is to not panic. What we have to do is balance the worst case scenarios with common sense. Think about fire insurance. We should all buy fire insurance for our home, but that doesn't mean that we walk around every day thinking our house is going to burn down. We just have the insurance in case we need it. And this is what we need to be thinking about in terms of COVID-19, taking the action necessary to deal with what might occur, even if we hope it doesn't, and even if we think it might not. Now, we should be buying enough groceries for the next week or two. We don't need them for the next year. We should take a sober view of the news as well. In fact, if you watch the news channels, there's a 24/7 coverage of different events. There are governors of 50 states with different news conferences. There's always some kind of bad news to go around. So it's important to sit back and soak it all in and keep everything in perspective. There's also a lot of psychology going on here. According to the CDC, as many as 51 million Americans have contracted the flu since October 19. That's in this flu season. And between 22,000 and 55,000 have died as a result. Now, COVID-19 spreads more easily than the flu, and we know less about it, but we should have a perspective. We don't change our behavior every day for the flu. Yes, we do need heightened awareness about COVID-19, but it's a little bit of awareness is important here in terms of keeping everything in perspective. Let's not panic, because panic can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everyone gets concerned about something that might happen. The next thing you know, bad things do occur as well. Now, scammers often step in to take advantage of this process. You might receive emails saying that dial this number, there's someone from the government to help you with bills or some other financial needs you have. Beware, they understand this financial and this psychological situation that we're in. Now, businesses are affected very differently. Each business has a totally different situation. You think about the airlines, they're hammered right now because people aren't traveling. Think about healthcare. The healthcare business is going to be just fine because people always need healthcare, but our first line responders need a lot of support because they're the ones who are going to have to deal with this issue, especially if it gets more acute. Retail's a bit more complicated. People still buy groceries, they purchase things online. but your department stores will suffer because people just won't be going to the shopping malls. Now, companies that can telecommute, serve customers online, and even grocery stores will probably do okay. Restaurants that have established takeout businesses, they have a nice online system where you can go order your food, pick it up, have it delivered. Those that have established those types of systems will likely do pretty well. What we really have are two types of financial issues for businesses. One is lost revenue from people not buying what they sell because they're just not getting out and making purchases. And the other problem is supply chain, which means the companies just can't get the supplies they need to do business the way they need to do it. Keep in mind that a company like Walmart gets about 75% of its products from China. So if the Chinese are unable to make the products they need and ship them to the US, that's going to have an effect on the shelves at Walmart. What about my 401k? Well, as we watch the stock market turmoil, a lot of people are concerned about whether they should invest or not invest or buy or sell, and I certainly can't offer financial advice. History does tell us that if we stick with it, then we do tend to recover after a period of economic turmoil. If we look back at the Great Recession and other times where the stock market has suffered in the short term, those that have stayed the course tend to do well. Now, how we'll recover, when that will happen, it's anybody's guess. We'll just have to see. But one thing that most financial advisors tell us is that timing the market is typically not the best advice. Remember, whenever you try to sell or buy, there's somebody else on the other side thinking that it's the time for them to do just the opposite. So from that perspective, it's very difficult to know how you should proceed financially. How long will this last? Well, we hope it'll just last a few weeks, but we just don't know right now. Things will be different from one region of the country to the next. Large cities are likely to see a greater impact as compared to more rural areas. This will be a defining moment for our nation. What are the possible long-term effects? Well, this is interesting to think about. I think we're going to see more working at home long-term as people get used to this, using the technology. It can free them up to commute less. This could be a positive over the long term. I think we're going to have different views on outsourcing products. Just what about the risk associated with getting products from other countries if you have a global pandemic like COVID-19? I think we're also going to reconsider some of the industries that supply our products outside of our country. Consider that we get about 90%, depending on how you do the math, of our pharmaceuticals from China right now. And that's an issue that we would have to address long term if we want to make sure that we're not in a predicament should another health crisis come down the line. So after the crisis, organizations should focus on crisis preparation. This is my hope that we all learn from this and then we are able to face the next crisis with a little bit better knowledge and preparation than we're facing this one. But for now, let's all stick together, support our communities, our churches, and the effort we can, and don't panic. We'll all get through this.